poop gets the bad rap because it was given, you know, the #2 name, and I think it's the #1 product of our body.
Sun is coming up, are you ready to go? We can take a ride, we can take it slow.
Well, welcome back to the Road to Self-Love. It's your boy, Paul Fishman, self-love coach and You Do You activist, here today with Dr. Marisol, Queen of the Thrones.
The Thrones.
And I'm so excited that our time aligned and you're here in San Diego and you can hop in the car and drive around and talk about, you know, all things like health and wellness, specifically around the area of the porcelain throne.
At the porcelain throne. I love the throne.
So I'd love for you to introduce yourself as you would love to be known.
Yes, okay, so I'm the Queen of the Thrones. I've been super blessed to have a really rocky childhood, and what I've realized over the years is that, you know, so many patients have come to me in clinical practice to feel better, right? But they're only focused on the physical. And what I realized is that my genius as a naturopathic doctor was to start them on the physical and then to elevate them into their heart and into their soul and into their mind. Because, you know, physical can only get you so far. As humans, we connect first into the physical. And it's probably one of the reasons why our society is the way that it is, that we over-focus on the physical.
Yeah.
So I've been blessed. I do on my platform, you know, teach everything about poo. You know, we have, and the other thing that I absolutely believe is that joy is medicine. So that's why I'm out here really teaching, right? To own your throne on that porcelain throne, but then more to own your purpose and your passion in your life, because then everything else is better. I've
been on a journey of healing both emotionally and physically, so there's been a lot of focus on my poop lately.
Yeah, good. It came at the right time. What's
your origin story around this? What brought you to being the Queen of the Throne?
Yeah, you know when you're a child and they ask you like, what do you want to be? So I always had the exact same answer, and I wanted to be Liza Minnelli and a doctor.
At the same time.
Yeah, at the same time. But I suffered from a lot of anxiety as a child. And it was just my nature and just the household I lived in. My parents were immigrants. You know, there's a lot of anxiety when people immigrate to different countries. And I unfortunately got mismanaged by the medical system and was diagnosed with asthma when it was just anxiety, and I was plopped full of like things like prednisone and different like asthma drugs. But I was already really isolated in the community that I grew up, because I grew up in Northern Ontario, Canada, and I was like the only Spanish kid bringing like sardine sandwiches to school. And all I had was my dancing. I was around 11. I'm going with my mom, we're signing up. This is the year that I get to be in the competitive group. And I remember going and her saying to me, like, well, not even saying to me, she was just talking to my mother. I was like, you know, sitting there in the corner kind of doing stuff, but she says, Marisol can't be in this group because she's gonna stick out like a sore thumb. I didn't fit into the mold that they wanted. And you know what, Paul? It crushed me. I went from being a great student to being an average student, to having less friends, to isolating myself at home, and to suffering from a lot of digestive disturbances. The thing was that it all rooted from anxiety, but I never addressed the anxiety because I didn't really think it was a problem, right? Because there's people also at the time too when people don't really talk about anxiety. It was like, no, it's a clinical diagnosis, let's do this. So that actually also crushed my dream of wanting to become a doctor, because I didn't like how I was treated. Got into my 20s, the entire time I was looking for my confidence on the outside instead of understanding that I came only from the inside. Someone told me to go into a beauty pageant, so I went into Miss Sudbury. I ended up winning Miss Congeniality, and I was so excited and happy, and then I ended up winning the pageant. And then that took me down another pathway, which also wasn't so healthy. I honestly do believe that pageants actually do give a lot to the people in them, but you're still always getting outside approval for who you are as a person. And I just kept on kind of, you know, doing the same circle, like trying to find approval from the outside. I got a job in the natural health industry, and from a big homeopathic pharmaceutical company, and I loved the stuff I was learning. So it actually took a doctor who was one of my clients to say to me, you know so much about this. He's like, you are like the expert teaching all the doctors who are treating cancer patients, treating all these types of patients, digestive disturbances, you're teaching us. He's like, you need to stop this and go be the doctor. I called up my company and I quit. And so I went back to school my IBS was out of control by that point. You know, I'd seen lots of doctors, hadn't got good results, and it was also one of the reasons why I was like, you know, I should just go back to school and figure it out for myself. I was doing all the right supplements, I was eating all the right foods, but I got super sick in my 3rd year, and it was because the stress was overwhelming. So that was kind of what took me on the path of like becoming like not only the queen of the thrones, but helping people with the castor oil packs, because they changed my life. Like, there are things like gratitude practices, everything to get aware in where you are at right here and right now. And the poop thing happened because one of my idols and inspirations was Oprah Winfrey. The time that she did her episode with Dr. Oz, I also had a huge spark in my heart about when he was talking about poop. Yeah, so that was my origin story.
Can you explain a little bit about what castor oil is and like the real like baseline of why castor oil packs for people who are uneducated or don't know?
Yeah, so they are one of the oldest treatments that exists to mankind. Castor oil actually connects us to the divine. It's one of those oils. It heals you. Like it's an anti-inflammatory, it gives you antioxidants, it produces nitric oxide, which is like, you know, great for, you know, blood circulation and anti-aging, and that's what I love about it. I think it's a spiritual connection. It's not just a supplement, you know, it's a nice practice that we do at night. It has so much healing possibility for people, right? So this pack, you know, moves everything into the center core, you know, so the more that you practice it, ideally people do it nightly. You take the flannel, pour castor oil on it, place it on your body, on your liver. Every time you do that practices you in the relaxed state. And what we want more in our lives is to continue practicing ourselves into the relaxed state.
So what you're saying is if I did a castor oil pack while meditating, I would be able to heal myself fully.
Exactly, 100%. I feel that, honestly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, cool, eh?
I'd love to play our first road trip game.
Oh,
and I thought that it would be fun to kind of segue into the poop conversation.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say like a type of poop and do your best to just answer, you know, very quickly, like one sentence.
Done.
Like what it's saying about your body.
Okay, perfect. Okay? I love it.
Perfect.
Okay.
Poop that floats.
You're not absorbing your fat, or you're having too much fat in your body, or gallbladder problems.
Poop that sinks.
You're having the right amount of fiber, and that is part of what I call the royal flush.
Really skinny poop.
That could be stress, so your anus is kind of, you know, tightened up. So anxiety, or it could be a medical emergency. So if it's ongoing, long-term, get to your doctor.
Really, really, really big poop.
Depends how big we're talking about, because really the ideal is from your wrist to your elbow. That's what you want to be pooping every single day.
Really, really rock hard poop.
Dehydration, maybe you have thyroid condition, thyroid disease. You could be deficient in magnesium or vitamin C, which are nutrients that really help to make your poo work better.
Really loose poop.
You could be bordering on the line of IBS. Anxiety is huge with this, so can depression. We want to be watching that. Hyperthyroid could be the problem with really loose poops. And infection.
Really dark poop.
If it's black, that's a medical emergency because that's bleeding in your stomach or your esophagus area. But if it's just really dark, it could just be like I say it has to be the color of soil, like brown, like soil, then you're good.
Really smelly poop.
My favorite question. If it is smells like rotten eggs, then you're talking hydrogen sulfide gas. That's a sign of zinc deficiency. And then you have bad microbiome, so the bacteria in your gut's not so good. If it smells like cow manure, it's methane. So methane is also a sign of bad bacteria, and that slows down your transit time, so it takes you way longer to go to the bathroom.
Well, that was really fun. I think that was the most fun that I ever had playing a road trip game.
My true goal, like if I really sum it up, yes, I'm teaching about poo. Yes, I'm helping people to evolve with these practices. But truly, I'm really trying to I'm helping them to get body connected so then they can get connected to their true self.
What are some like first steps?
The first step is, okay, well, I would say go download my 50 Shades of Poo on my website at www.drmarisol.com. And let's start with the color. It's the easiest thing to see. It's not embarrassing, you know, it's simple. You actually want to do a green smoothie shake test. Eat lots of green foods for 3 days and, you know, lots of green smoothies and see what color your poo is. If it's good, then that means your stomach acid is really good. So that's step one. And then step two, we go into something called transit time. The amount of time from when the food comes into your mouth when it comes out your butt. How long is that? It should be 24 hours is the ideal. The test that you do is you take beets at a meal, And you've eaten beets before.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what happens when you eat
It
beets?
turns everything red. What is like the number one thing that you run into with clients around just like movement?
That they want to be perfect. And it is never perfect. The royal flush is our gold standard. That's what we call the royal flush, which is like the perfect poo. But, you know, I always take a little bit of moments in time with my patients and say, you know, we're not here to achieve perfection. We're here to achieve progress. So this is the goal and our dream, but we're like, you know, step by step trying to work at it and measure yourself by your improvement stats.
So I'm curious.
Yeah.
What does self-love mean to you?
Self-love means sitting, holding, appreciating, hugging, caring the you that you really truly are. You are you. There is no other work of art like you in this world. So just love who you are completely, own who you are, shine your bright light.
Thank you for sharing your definition. So if people are obsessed with you, they want to do all the things, like how can they find you?
On Instagram, you can find me on @QueenOfTheThrones. You have to add the in there. Online, my website, www.drmarisol, DrMarisol.com.
This has been so much fun having you on the road talking about poo and beyond.
A heart-to-heart hug.
Thank you so much for watching and listening, and we'll see you next time on the road to self-love. Bye!
Bye!